Hey guys, Carl Cooper here with OnTheBlack.com with a quick Q&A. The first question comes from NY Sportsman 2, and his question is, now that the Mets have signed Jason Bay, what is their next move? And it's interesting you ask this question because I asked the viewers out there this question a few days ago. You know, what would you like to see the Mets do next in terms of people to bring in signings or trades? And the overwhelming majority of you responded and said that pitching is the #1 priority, and the Mets should bring in some pitchers. And you know, the people that you guys said that the Mets should bring in ranged from Ben Sheets to Chen-Ming Wang, or even trading for someone like Carlos Zambrano or Derek Lowe. In my opinion, I've said this before, that pitching should be the priority. I think that should be the Mets' next move, is to look at some pitching and bring in some pitchers. You know, the names that I just threw out there, all of them, in my opinion, make sense, and I would be open to bringing in any of those guys except for Ben Sheets. I'm not a big Ben Sheets fan. It seems like he always gets hurt when his team needs him most, and he just comes across as a very soft pitcher. So, you know, I'm open for bringing in some of those other guys, but if possible. But Ben Sheets, I'm not a big fan of. The next question comes from NewBiz007, and the question is, what about moving David Wright to first and going after Miguel Cabrera? Well, you know, two responses from my standpoint to that question. One is, I am a big fan of the Mets seeing if Miguel Cabrera is available from Detroit. But the second part of that question is, I am not a fan of moving Wright to first and putting Miguel Cabrera at third. I think Wright should stay at third. And if the Mets were to pull off a trade like that for Miguel Cabrera, he should be the Mets' first baseman. The reason why I like Miguel Cabrera so much is he fills a couple needs. One, he's a power-hitting first baseman, and the Mets have a need at first base. And even though they just recently signed Jason Bay, I still think that they need more punch in that lineup, and he would be someone you could stick right in the middle of that lineup that would be a threat to any pitcher that will go up against the Mets. So, you know, don't know if he's actually available, but that would be something that I would be open to, you know, Miguel Cabrera. I would also say, guys, check out MetsToday.com. Joe Janis did a nice write-up about this particular trade scenario a few weeks back, and he really laid out sort of, you know, the pros and cons, and really dissecting this deal if it were to happen, and what the Mets could possibly give up in return for Cabrera, so on and so forth. So I urge you guys to check that out, and I will leave the link either below this video if you're watching on OnTheBlack.com, or to the side. I will also say that one thing about Miguel Cabrera is, you know, he is sort of a firecracker. You know, he does have a little bit of an attitude problem that's been you know, talked about in the past. And Omar Minaya over the years has seemed to shy away from people, or actually trade away people who have a little bit of an edge to him. You know, he got rid of Lasting Millage. He got rid of Paul LaDuca. Even got rid of Chris Benson, who Chris Benson wasn't an issue, but his wife was at some point in time. So, you know, Minaya always seems to kind of shy away from those types of players that have a little bit of an edge to them, or that could cause some controversy. And Miguel Cabrera has been known to do that in the past. So, but that's my answer to that question. Let me know what you guys think about both of these Q&A questions, and I'll talk to you soon.